Have you ever sat alone in the quiet hours of the morning, when the world still sleeps, and wondered how it all passed so quickly? The faces you once knew, the hands you once held, the dreams you once chased, all drifting like smoke in the air. You look in the mirror and you see time staring back. And in that moment, a question rises, and not about youth or loss, but about meaning. What now? Welcome, my friend. If you're watching this, you've lived enough years to know that life doesn't owe you anything. You've loved, you've lost, you've failed, you've succeeded, and perhaps you're wondering what remains. But I'll tell you something, the Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius, once wrote to himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Before we begin, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and watch it to the end. Because what you'll hear in the next few minutes might not just inspire you, it might bring peace to your restless heart and clarity to your love, your regrets, and your days ahead. This is not just a video, it's a reflection for men who have lived long enough to see how fragile the world really is, and for those wise enough to know that the journey isn't over yet. 1. The weight of years. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he was never proud of his throne. In his meditations, he wrote to himself like a tired soldier, reminding his own heart not to grow bitter, not to lose his discipline, not to give up on virtue, because he knew something that many men forget. Time doesn't take away your strength, it reveals your character. As you grow older, the world becomes quieter, but your thoughts become louder. You begin to see what was hidden before, that most people chase shadows, that fame is a fog, and that love, when built on vanity, fades like a reflection on water. Marcus said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Old age isn't a punishment, it's the path. It strips you of illusions one by one until you're left with truth alone. And yet so many men fight it. They dye their hair, chase women half their age, or drown their silence in distraction. But wisdom begins when you stop fighting time and start walking with it. Ask yourself, what if your age isn't your enemy, but your teacher? What if every wrinkle is a line of poetry written by experience itself? 2. The mirror and the mind. There's a story told about an old philosopher who looked at his reflection one morning. He saw his gray beard, his weathered skin, and he said quietly, "This is not me, this is my vessel." Then he smiled because he realized his soul was untouched. That's what Marcus meant when he said, "You have power over your mind and not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. In the modern world, many older men feel invisible, their strength no longer admired, their opinions dismissed, their passions questioned. But here's the truth. The world may not see you, but wisdom doesn't need an audience. The Stoics believed that self-respect is built in solitude, that you don't need applause to live nobly, that every morning when you wake, you have a duty to act with reason, kindness, and courage, regardless of who's watching. When you live that way, even your silence carries weight. Even your presence becomes a lesson to those still running the race you've already finished. 3. The love you still deserve. Now let's talk about love, not the love of youth, the wild, burning kind that consumes everything in its path, but the love that endures, the one built not on beauty or lust, but on shared silence, patience, and truth. Marcus Aurelius loved his wife deeply. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." For him, love wasn't just emotion, it was an act of virtue. You see, old men often feel that love has passed them by, but that's an illusion. Love doesn't belong to youth, and it belongs to the wise. Because only when you've lost, only when you've endured, only when you've forgiven, do you truly understand what love means. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe you've grown distant from your wife or partner. Maybe you've watched someone walk away and wondered if you'll ever feel again. Marcus would tell you this: accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. For what could more aptly fit your needs? If love returns, accept it with gratitude. If it leaves, let it go with grace. Because love, like all things, must obey nature's rhythm, coming and going in its time. And the older you become, the more you realize that real love is not found in others first, but in yourself. You cannot give peace if you do not live in peace. 4. The regret that follows you. Let's be honest, every man has regrets. Things unsaid, chances missed, tempers lost. Maybe you think back to the words you wish you'd never spoken, or the people you let slip away. But Marcus reminds us, Do not waste the rest of your life wondering what others think, or what might have been. Direct yourself to the task at hand. Regret is only useful if it teaches you. Beyond that, it's poison. It keeps you chained to a past that no longer exists. The Stoic way isn't to ignore the past, and it's to integrate it. To look it in the eyes and say, "You were my teacher." Every mistake has shaped you. Every heartbreak has carved your soul into something deeper. Without pain, there would be no empathy. Without loss, there would be no wisdom. So, old man, do not curse your scars. They are not signs of failure. They are the proof that you've lived fully and still stand tall. 5. The quiet battle within. Marcus wrote often about his inner battles. He spoke of anger, desire, exhaustion, fear. He didn't deny them, he studied them. Because Stoicism is not about pretending to be emotionless. It's about mastering emotion through reason. He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." And sometimes your worst enemy is yourself. Maybe you feel your body slowing. Maybe you feel life moving faster than your hands can hold. But you must remember, the soul doesn't age. The fire within you can burn calmly, steadily until your last breath. Every day remind yourself, I am not too old to learn. I am not too late to change. I am not finished yet. That's the essence of Stoic living. To act as if every day were both your first and your last. To rise each morning not for recognition, but for duty. To live not for pleasure, but for purpose. 6. The lesson of simplicity. In a world of chaos and noise, Stoicism whispers, simplify. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. As men grow older, possessions lose their charm. You realize that wealth without peace is just a burden, that the house, the car, the status, all of it fades. What remains is how you treated others. What remains is whether you lived in harmony with yourself. Ask yourself, do I really need more, or do I simply need less? Because peace begins where desire ends. The Stoics sought not abundance, but enough. And the wise man knows that enough is a kind of wealth greater than gold. So let go of the endless chase. Walk slower. Listen more. Live simply, and you'll find that simplicity gives back what time has taken away. 7. The fear of the end. Let's speak of death as not with fear, but with understanding. Marcus wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Old age is not a countdown to death. It's a reminder that life was never guaranteed. It was always borrowed. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering death, not as a morbid thought, but as a compass. It reminds you to stop wasting time on bitterness, to forgive faster, to love while you still can, to speak your truth gently before silence takes it from you. Death is not the end of meaning. It's the proof that meaning existed. And when you walk through life knowing that each day is a gift, you live with a kind of peace the young will never understand. 8. The legacy you leave. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, but he never wrote about his victories. He didn't glorify his power or his wars. He wrote only about his soul, the battles no one could see. He knew that legacy isn't about monuments or fame. It's about the quiet impact of your example. Your children, your friends, your lovers, and they will remember not what you owned, but who you were when no one was watching. Every time you choose patience over anger, you pass wisdom forward. Every time you forgive, you teach courage. Every time you love without fear, you leave light behind. And when you're gone, that light remains. So ask yourself, what will remain when you're gone? The answer is not found in what you leave behind, but in what you give while you're still here. The present moment, your final kingdom. In the end, all Stoic wisdom leads to one truth. The present moment is your only kingdom. Marcus Aurelius said, confine yourself to the present. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only now is real. So look around you. The sunlight on your hands, the breath in your chest, the sound of your heartbeat, still strong, still alive. This is your empire now. You do not need to be young to be powerful. You do not need to be loved to be worthy. You do not need to be seen to have value. You are a man, tested, weathered, and wise. And your calm, your peace, your gratitude, these are the marks of a true Stoic. 10. Closing reflection. As this reflection ends, sit quietly for a moment. Let the noise fade. Let the words sink in. Remember, you cannot control time, but you can choose how to meet it. You cannot control others, but you can master yourself. You cannot stop aging, but you can age with grace. And maybe that's what Marcus Aurelius would tell every old man still searching for peace. Stop looking backward. Stop waiting for someone to understand you. Stop regretting what was. Instead, just be present, be calm, be kind, and let your last years be your most noble. Because in the end, it's not about how long you live, and it's about how clearly you see. So if this message has spoken to you, if you've felt the weight of time and the warmth of understanding, then take a deep breath and remember, you are still becoming. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.